Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have the 2020 and we have a little review going on today. I've had this truck for about 10 months now and I get asked a lot, hey, how's it doing? Are you liking it? What problems have you had? All kinds of stuff. And first off, I have other trucks to compare this to. I traded a 2017 Powerstroke in on this. I have a 19 350 Powerstroke and a 17 550. So it's not like this is my only diesel truck or the only truck I've ever owned or whatever. I have something to compare it to. So when I tell you the information I'm going to give you, I have, comparables, right? So this is a 2020 F350 Platinum, and of course the new 10-speed, the updated engine, all the new stuff they got going on underneath the hood, new injectors, new turbo, new fuel pressure system, all kinds of stuff going on. So how has it been? Honestly, it's been pretty friggin' good. I love this truck. I really do. The power is unbelievable. I'll show you guys what I've done to it. We'll hit the road, I'll talk about it a bit more. And then I'm going to pick up a 15,000 pound trailer in hauling, which I haul on a regular basis. So first off, we are here in my hometown at the community fairgrounds. And unfortunately this year, they were not able to hold their exhibition, which is a shame. I grew up in this area playing around with all the other kids. This is where all like the fast food stuff was made, the French fries and stuff. There's nothing like a carnival French fry, onion rings, all that sort of stuff. So, okay, so here it is, the 2020 F350 Platinum. What have I done? Obviously right away you notice the wheels. So those are 20x9, zero offset, Dirty Life DT1s with 37, 12, 50, 20 Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws, which I love. I did a review on those. To make room for these tires, I put the 2.5-inch Ready Lift, just the spacer system with the track bar drop bracket. I had to trim the factory mud flaps in order to make this work. I do have Husky kickback style mud flaps. I've had them for 6 months now. Just haven't found time to put them in. I did take off that humongous snow plow of an air dam and I put on the Tremor air dam. I did that very soon after I put the lift, the level and the tires on. I have got Airlift airbags with a Airlift Wireless 1 onboard compressor, which I mount inside the cab right here to keep out of all the crap, all the crud and the water and crap. I've got a backflip MX4 bed cover, which is the best bed cover I've ever owned, and it protects all my chainsaws and tools and everything else I got going on back here, because this is a full-blown work truck, although I am having some fun with it, of course. And under the hood we've done a few piping things, and I have a few more things to do actually. I have a air intake kit in my garage right now that I just haven't had time to put in as well. And of course the 2020s, not a lot out there for them right now. I've got the SPE cold side intercooler pipe, and I have the SPE hot side intercooler pipe. And of course, the new air system will be going right here. So finally, Ford listened and put the air box back in front of the batteries instead of that they had it in 17 to 19. And then I have the Banks pedal monster, which is right here, which makes this truck even more fun. But that's it for what I've done to it so far. I do have some plans of more things to do to it if I keep the truck, some custom paint and things like that. But you guys know I've been talking about something happening with this. But let's jump in the truck, we'll go for a quick drive, and then I'll go pick up that machine and I'll show you guys how well this truck handles towing. Alright, so here we are, we're behind the wheel. So let's talk about some performance and handling and MPG of this truck. So within a month of owning this truck, I had the level and the 37s on it, and I am still getting 20 MPG or better on the highway with 37-inch tires and the leveling kit, the Tremor air dam. It doesn't make a difference. One thing that I will mention is now that these 2020s have been lowered since the 2019 model, if you get a 2.5-inch leveling system for the front, you're gonna have a slight negative rake, very slight. But the second you hook up to a trailer, you're gonna be doing the Cali lean. So I have the airbags, so I actually run like 30 to 35 pounds of air in my bags. I do have quite a bit of weight with tools and saws and stuff on the back there, but I run like 30 to 35 PSI in my bags, and that keeps me level or just slightly higher in the rear than what I am in the front. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's something that if you're going out of a 17 to 19, you might not know. Handling. These trucks handle so much better than the 17 to 19. I don't know what they did. I didn't really think that they did a whole lot of changes to the chassis and the suspension and that stuff, but they drive better. You don't get near as much bump steer. The whole truck just feels tighter. Like when I get in this and then I get in my 19, which I know has, you know, like 65,000 miles on it compared to 23,000 miles in this truck. I know that's a big difference, but it just handles so much better, even with the 37s. So something else I do have for this truck that I do not have on yet is caster shims. Anytime you level your truck, you should have caster shims to correct your caster. I don't have them yet, and I have them, I just don't have them in yet. And you don't really notice it that much unless you're like towing a trailer or you're on roads with you know, some pretty good ruts in them. If you're towing some decent weight and you got some pretty good ruts in the road, you will notice that the truck does wander a little bit on the road. But if you put the caster shims in, that will correct that. I will be making a video on that, so stay tuned. So performance, so MPG, yes, incredible, blows my 19 right out of the water. Handling, way better. Performance is where this truck is unbelievable compared to the 17 to 19s. The new 10-speed transmission and this new engine is just unbelievable. You know, 475 horse, 1,050 torque, and there is more there to be had. That's like, these trucks are still, even with that power output, which is awesome, they're still like detuned really. There's so much room there to work with. There's so much potential. I'm gonna do a little pull here in a second, but these trucks are absolute rockets. Like for like an 8,000 pound truck, this thing gets up and goes so fast. There is hardly any turbo lag whatsoever. If anything, it's torque management. There really isn't much turbo lag whatsoever. It's just torque management because it got so much torque. If it threw all the torque down right away to the wheels, you'd be breaking drive shafts and axles and everything like crazy. Like it just wouldn't be able to handle it. So the 2020s are a far superior truck over the 17 to 19s. They just are. We got a pretty good straightaway here. Nobody really behind us, nobody in front of us. Let's go. And there's the torque. Yeah. So I don't know if I didn't get a chance to look at the transmission over here, if I allowed it to get down to first gear before I came onto it, but once it allowed it to give it all the power, man, does it ever take off. Now, yeah, I have the pedal monster. The pedal monster does not make your vehicle faster. It just makes it feel like it because you're barely touching the throttle and the thing's taking off. So it doesn't make it faster at all. The intercooler piping, it is slightly larger, so sure, maybe, but I tell you one thing, you can really hear the turbo in this truck. You can hear the whistle compared to the 17s and 19s as well, and of course we all love that. Alright guys, so now we are hooked up to the excavator. So excavator, trailer, and mulching head, bucket, chains, all that stuff. We're between 14 and 15,000 pounds. We are going up South Mountain here on Highway 12. It is a very, very, very steep incline. My foot is nowhere near into this thing right now, and it just goes. Like, there is so much power. Like, no other truck I've ever owned hauls 15,000 pounds. Like, there's no issues with it whatsoever. Like, I am not into this thing. It's in 6th gear, just pulling its way up. And honestly, this is one of the things I love about the pedal monster, is I am barely into the pedal, and it just feels effortless. I actually enjoy it more towing than I do with a load. But we're almost at the top of this hill. My ears just popped, actually. And that's it. Done. 6th gear and up. So one thing I will say is, on the highway when I'm doing, like 70 miles per hour, anything over 12,000 pounds, I lock out 10th gear. Because even in 9th, it's still at like 1,500 RPM. So I lock out 10th, and that way it just gives it a little more RPM, a little more power to pull some of those grades. And when I'm on side roads like this, where I'm doing, like 55 to 60, I sometimes, depending on the terrain, if the terrain is a lot of hills, I lock out 10th and 9th and just run 8th. And then I'm at like 1,600 RPM, cruising down the road. It never ever shifts out of 8th once. Right now I'm in 8th, and you can see I'm doing, 55 miles per hour. If you can see, the sun glare is not good. And I'm at like 1,500 RPM. So, pretty crazy. But yeah, this thing is an absolute beast towing. So the most I've towed with this truck was close to 20,000 pounds. I had my 30-foot gooseneck trailer with my F550 on it, which adds up to close to 20,000 pounds on the gooseneck, and it hauled it like nothing. I did a video when it was factory setup, factory tires, no level, no nothing. It did amazing, and even with the 37s, it did amazing. So everyone, you need to keep in mind that this thing is on 37s. So as good as this performs now, it would perform even better stock. All right, guys. So here we are. We are back at the yard. Just another enjoyable drive in the 2020. So I was telling you I had other Ford trucks. So this is the 2017 F550 with the 30-foot gooseneck, hauling my 8-ton excavator, which it does on a regular basis, all over the Maritimes. Every day this thing is hauling this equipment. And this is the 2019 F350 XLT Premium with 35s. Second year, this will be the third winter plowing with this truck, and it has never ever let me down. This truck has been awesome. Just comparing this truck to the 2020 is just not even in the same conversation, to be honest. They've done so much to improve these trucks from 2019 to 2020. It's honestly just no comparison. So you heard me say a lot of good things, and there is a lot of good things. The only bad thing that happened to this truck, and it didn't leave me alongside the road or anything like that, because I was able to, trick the computer, is I did have a DEF problem, so emission problem. You would think, by now they'd have this stuff all figured out. Basically, there was like a corroded connection on top of the DEF tank where the pump is, and it was not allowing the pump to build suction to pull DEF out of the tank. So I ended up having to get a new pump, a new DEF pump. And of course it was through warranty. Fairley and Stevens, the guys over there, they hooked me up in Dartmouth. They got me back on the road in snap of a finger. So that was the bad. Other than that, nothing has happened to the truck. No other complaints whatsoever. I'm completely happy with this truck. People ask me, I can get a really good deal on a 2019. What do you think? And I tell them all the time, if you can get a great deal on 2019, just don't drive a 2020, because the second you drive a 2020, you're gonna buy the 2020. But anyway, guys, for now, that is it. Oh yes, they've made some huge upgrades for 2020. There honestly is no comparison. If you drive one, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. And the guys that have them and have the 17s, 19s, or 11s, or 16s, you know what I'm talking about. So, I'll keep putting the miles on this thing, keep towing with this thing, and I'll keep you guys updated. But for now, that's it. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye.